What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we do our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs like in the cryptocurrency space, because gosh, crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next little while and nothing's even close. So, welcome along on the journey. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here. Just truly blessed to be on this journey with you guys where we're using cryptocurrency as that wealth creation tool and going to use some real estate and some real world assets down the road as some wealth preservation. And we're just having a great time here with you guys going through this rocky ride, because that's what we're on right now. Is quite the rocky ride. But even with the ride being as rocky as it is, with the entire world going to shambles, all Pulse Chain did was revisit like price points that we were at 2 weeks ago. I was like, okay, is this a dip for ants? I mean, for us, I was like, wow, I expected a lot more. So that was very bullish, to say the least. I would say that's probably because we've exhausted the majority of our sellers, is what I'm thinking. We've already kind of gone through and rinsed, who we're going to rinse. So even when we have worldwide FUD or macro FUD, it's just like, how much more can you sell the price down, right? And so, so I think that's very bullish. And this morning, I noticed that we've been pumping a little bit. We got a little bit of green on the price charts. Let's see how long that holds until World War III gets announced. And then when World War III gets announced, it's always something's next, right, Dana? And it's something's next. So I don't know.
Well, and I think you nailed it. Like, so we can go through the events so far, the big FUD events. We had the SEC FUD. We've had which was brutal. Like, to me, that felt similarly to the last few days with potentially the world ending type of deal. And then we've had the threat of the next world war and impending market collapse. You have the yen, what do they call it? The yen carry trade in Japan,
yen carry trade
that apparently is unraveling everything. And man, like, it's really interesting to see the charts not react. Frankly, I thought they'd react a lot more strongly. And I'm with you. I think it points to the idea that we're largely the people that are going to be here. They're largely here, and we've largely washed out the people that are going to wash out. I'm hopeful, anyways. There was the Elio Trades dude on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Whoever's selling right now, F you." And I was like, man, nobody sell. We've got a little bit of green here. It's like the meme where you see the chart go down 90%, and then there's a little bit of green, and the guy's like, "We're so back." That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. And I'm like, nobody sell, so we can all have nice things. It's funky, man. It's funky to be along for the roller coaster ride.
It is, man. It is. And what's even more eerie with the cycle is that this is right on cue where the COVID dip happened in the last cycle. Right on cue.
Wild.
We're just in a movie, bro.
It's freaking crazy.
It's just in a movie, and everything's just playing out like to the cycle. I don't know. It's I don't know how that happens like that. People say because the global liquidity index, all that, the money controls where we're at in the cycle through the global liquidity index. But how does you have to come up with a worldwide event to match the COVID dip? It's just wild to me. Absolutely wild, but.
It is. Yeah, this is interesting. Solana bounced back really strong, huh? Let's go have a look at that. So, gosh, I mean, Pulse Chain looking real strong against ETH, which is fascinating. Let's go ahead and look at that really quick.
Oh, yeah, I saw that this morning.
Yeah, looking great. I mean, it continues to gain. So this is Pulse in ETH terms. And you're looking, I mean, look at this big wick up. It got theoretically like sold down or in a relationship to Ethereum got pushed down, and then we're green again today. So we got a really nice uptrend here, which I find just fascinating, and it's continuing in that direction so far. So that's looking really good. Let's go and look at a Solana chart. Where are we at today? Oh yeah, that is a nice candle. I'll share this tab instead. I think I have the right one. Oh, this is on BSC. Nonetheless, I think it'll. Is that right? No, maybe that's not right. Hold on. I thought I had the right one. Solana.
Maybe you got to do Rapsol.
Is it this one? Here we go. $12.7 million of liquidity. This has got to be it, right? Yeah. Yeah, Sol USDC. I think this is right. What is that? But I'd argue this doesn't look like much of a bigger move than that's only 12% move right there.
I mean, Pulse Chain's doing pretty well overall.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, we go here. Let's look at this. If we look at the ETH chart, it's what is this? This is roughly this green candle is like almost a 5% move. If we go over here and we look at the Pulse Chain chart, let's go right here. I mean, it says 7% move in the last 24 hours. PulseX 12%, Hex 10%, eHex 12%, Ink 10%. I mean, yes, Sol's not doing anything particularly special. So it's good. I mean, markets across the board looking to bounce here. If you were to guess, Corey, and once again, we've been wrong plenty of times, so we don't know what's going on. We're just speculating here. Gosh, if I were to guess, can you think of a bigger FUD event than what we just went through for this bull run for markets across? If we actually did have, it'll be interesting. Yeah, World War. That would be something. But for all intents and purposes, it sounds like the Fed is turning on the money printers again. It sounds like the rest of the world is pivoting. They had, I'm pretty sure they had an emergency meeting yesterday or scheduled for today with Jerome Powell. And gosh, if they print more money, I mean, I think a lot of that will find its way into the crypto markets, which is good for our bag. So we could definitely go cheaper, but I think this is probably, at least for the time being, probably a local low. And we'll see if we get another nice big FUD event here, man.
Well, and why I think that it could, or maybe it doesn't, but why I think it could happen is because of Lockheed Martin, the governmental contractors for military, their price charts freaking pumping, and it always pumps before war.
Right.
And so that's the part that's a little bit scary. Like, war is like the worst thing. Please, that's like the one. It's like, let's have other FUD events. That's fine. Like, that's the worst one we could get, in my opinion, because it's like, but let's see what happens. I mean, there's been a war going on anyways in the Middle East for quite a while. Maybe that's where the pump came from on on that price chart. I don't know.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, there's been going on, some conflict anyways, for the last, like, what is that, 10 months? It's not new. So I'm wondering if that's what's pumping the price, or if it's something new that's brewing. I just hope it's not something new brewing, but that's usually when that price chart pumps.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, we'll see. We will see what occurs. It's going to be fascinating. I tell you, Sami posted a video in the last couple of days that I watched, and he said, I don't blame anyone if they want to sell and leave crypto. And honestly, I was nodding my head along with him. I'm like, I don't blame anyone that's like, forget this volatility. I'm leaving. This is wild, man. There was the stock trader. You guys probably saw the meme. Do I have it saved here? Oh, I tagged you in it. It was the one. Yeah, you have the stock trader that lost 30% in a day, went and jumped off a building, and then it says crypto traders lost 30% in a day, and they go and they just trash talk on Twitter, and just another day in crypto. It's wild, the volatility here.
Yeah, for us, it's like a 30% day is normal.
Right.
That's nothing, man. Yeah, we're built differently. That's for sure.
Yep. Agreed. This is a really interesting question. So, I didn't see that on the chart. We pulled up again. Maybe I pulled it up wrong. Oh, you mean from the bottom of that wick? Let's look at that. So if we pull from the bottom of this wick to where it's at right now, yeah, that's a 30% move. Okay, I see what you're talking about. And if we pull the Pulse chart from the bottom of this wick, 15%. Yeah, okay. So you got double the move on Solana. I mean, here's the facts: is Pulse Chain's been Richard's Pulse Chain and Hex have been Richard's two laggiest coins. It's really interesting to see through all the pumping and volatility. I'm wondering when that shifts. It feels like it's got to shift at some point. But man, if I was buying, I don't know. We don't give financial advice. I have hedged my bags, and maybe I'm wrong. You guys can run victory laps and laugh in my face if I end up being wrong. But the nice thing is we can learn from the market. So far the market is saying the Richard Hart tickers that pump the most are freaking Ink and Pulsex. They have for it feels like 6 months or more. They've been when we have volatility, those are the two that perform the best. And so I've hedged myself that way. Not 100%. I own some other Richard Hart tickers too. But that's the data so far. So I want to hedge that direction. And then I can always make a change if I feel like the data is giving us something different. So I wouldn't be comparing Pulse to Solana. If it were me, I'd be comparing Ink or PulseX as far as gains to be able to see those are Richard's better tickers as far as performance thus far.
Agreed. I mean, we've even seen when Richard does pump, like Hex, for example, that the market will sell off that pump into Ink and PulseX.
Right.
Like they sell it off into that. So even if he does pump Hex, which he probably will, PulseX and Ink are going to do really well because of it. So
sure. And we were looking at this in our group the other day. I had a community member that asked the same thing. They said, well, should I buy some Solana? I mean, you get to make the decision from the low. I mean, here's the thing: from the lows on Solana to where we're at right now, you're buying a chart that's up. What is that? Hold on. Let me measure it from, this chart isn't going to go back far enough. This only goes back to July of 2023. I don't want to go to the effort of finding the right one. I mean, essentially, Sol has pumped a lot harder than Pulse Chain has. And so you're buying a chart that's up significantly more than some of the RH tickers. So, you get to use that data however you see fit and however you want to do things. I don't think that it's the craziest thing to have some diversification, especially if you already have really significant holdings in one place. I don't think it's crazy to look to get some diversification elsewhere if you feel like you need to.
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty much all in on Pulse Chain, but I can see why people would want to be diversified. So,
right. Yep. Oh, this is interesting. We dropped to the 786, got an order there at the exact bottom. RH coins are shifting faster now. Yeah, let's look at that. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
We can't see your screen if you're...
Oh, Sorry, let me go ahead and pull this. Let's go from down here to up here. I'm curious where you're pulling the fibs from, Crypto Elite. I'm not getting the same thing as you, I don't think. Maybe you're not pulling it to that wick. Let's pull it to the candle body. Okay, let's share my screen. All right, here we go. So this is the pulse chain price chart. I pulled from the low over here up to the more recent pump. If we do that, I mean, we're getting the 786 is this level right here. What could I do to get that closer to
He
where
says put it on log.
Oh, gotcha. Where's the freaking log button here?
The right-hand side, lower right-hand side.
Oh, thank you. There it is. I mean, our 786 is still right here. It's the pulse chain chart. Yeah, it's not changing it much.
Oh, he says change settings in the fib extension to log as well.
Oh, gotcha. You guys are giving me some, I'm learning some new things here. This is good. Change it to log here. First levels, values. Nope. Coordinates. I'm not seeing it. Fiblo. Oh, right here. Oh, why won't it let me check that? Maybe I need to pay for something. I don't know. Yeah, well, let me check it. We'll take your word for it. It's good enough for me.
Yep.
But it's cool. We're looking good. Yeah, this is a great point. RH coins finishing their W now. Many alts not there yet. Right. We've got higher lows and looking for the next higher high out of this little zone here to be able to get that W and feel really good about it. So it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Right on cue.
Right on freaking cue. Yeah, Pulse is the dumb pipe. People sell ink to Pulse, then Pulse to DAI, so Pulse takes a lot of sell pressure. It's a good point. Yeah. Let's talk about Corey. Have you guys, so I'm curious, you guys in the comments, were you aware of this yen carry trade? I had no idea about what this was before the last couple of days. I've been reading lots of stuff about it, and it's fascinating. Let me find the post.
And there's also other carry trades that are bigger than the yen carry trade. I was reading that could have more impact from, in different countries. The yen carry trade is not the only one out there. So
I tell you, before I was in crypto, I had no idea
about this stuff.
How the world was just like
same here. Real estate, you don't need this stuff. Like, you don't look at this stuff. It doesn't affect real estate too much. I mean, it's not really needed.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating how a lot of stuff, since the US dollar is the world reserve currency, pretty well everything is everything is tied in some way. There's leverage on it. There's different things going on. And man, so with the yen carry trade in Japan, so essentially you could go and borrow yen for 0% interest. You could take it to other markets where you'd make more money on that, and you could go turn a profit, right? And there's arbitrage there. And that's been going on for 30 years, over 30 years from the information I was looking at. And they went ahead and raised their interest rates. Well, I think it was like half a point, quarter of a point. So that's 0.5% for you guys, or 1/4%. And the world freaked out Understandably so, because you thought that you had free money essentially here at 0% interest where you could go turn a profit on it. Now they're signaling that, hey, it's not free anymore. You have people going and covering their butts, selling off and doing some different things. And that was apparently a lot of the capitulation that happened in the last little bit. There's some reports saying that a lot of that carry trade has unwound already. I don't friggin' believe any of those guys. So we will see. But man, I just like it. It is mind-boggling to me how all of the governments, they're just a big freaking Ponzi, just
It's
like the rest of this stuff. Like it's crazy.
Ponzi and
It is
leverage.
crazy.
Ponzi's and leverage. It's all like what this stuff is.
Uh-huh. Yep. Exactly.
It's fascinating.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Paul's here. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is yeah, great. Yeah, we went over this a little bit earlier, Paul. I don't know if you saw us share the chart. Let's do it again. I mean, Pulse has been
The secret chart. This is the secret chart.
yeah, Pulse has been outperforming ETH for gosh, when is this? Or gaining on ETH May 28th, roughly
Yeah,
speaking.
that's great
So
market structure. I mean, as long as we can hold that and ETH can pump, we need ETH to pump too, and we got to hold that. That means we can, outperform ETH. And, Pulse can outperform ETH, meaning Pulse X is going to do way better, meaning Ink's going to do way better. So this is good structure,
Pulse
guys.
doesn't outperform ETH. We've got some problems here. Some freaking big problems. I mean, where do you think ETH goes from here? I think that the bulls are saying, as high as what, 30K or so with the ETFs.
That's
Uh,
extremely bullish.
but let's
But
say let's back that off a little bit. What do you think is more realistic? Like a what,
15,
12, 15K?
yeah, 15K is a very realistic.
Call it 15. 15 is easy for math. ETH is, a little less than 3 grand. I think where it's like 2,500 when I looked earlier today. Let's just call it 3 grand for easy math's sake. I mean, that's a 5x.
Yeah,
So, it's a little bit more than a 5x from where we're at. Look, Pulse needs to do a lot more than freaking 5x from the lows here for anyone to be remotely excited. So we better we better
yep, that structure better hold
do more than that. Yeah.
and do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's good. I mean, if ETH does a 5x and we can do maybe, I don't know, even a 5x against ETH, then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
that'd be
25.
strong.
That's a 25x on Pulse. That's just on Pulse. That means Pulse X probably going to do, I don't know, 40x. Same with Ink. Who knows? Yeah, I would be happy with those kind of numbers. I would be happy.
Right. The other thing that I thought was interesting, did you see this? So apparently there's so many weird little things in the market. So apparently there's this, I'm sure it's not an official index, but they called it the bar and what they call it? The bar and pizza standard or something like this. I saw it floating around Twitter. They were saying that the Pentagon. So if you want to go and you want to see if the Pentagon, if there's rumors of war or something of that nature, then all you have to go do is make a few calls in the area around the Pentagon, see what wait times are like to get into bars, and see how long it'll take you to get a pizza delivered. If it's long wait times for pizza delivery and there's a lot of availability to go into a bar, it means the Pentagon people are not at the bars. They're potentially busily working at the Pentagon and ordering pizzas in. And apparently it was just like off the charts a couple of nights ago. Bars were empty. Pizza delivery times were really extended out. And so some of these guys were like, yep, Pentagon is hard at work. Apparently we've been sending troops over to Israel. I think I saw like 4 days ago. I think it was a bunch of them.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wish the world would get their shit together.
Mm-hmm. What do you, I'm telling you, yeah, this is fascinating. 46 billion in debt, printers restarting. I think that if you the more that I think about this, the more I actually like it, as far as, well, I like it from the perspective of being able to pay back government debt. If you could acquire a bunch of Bitcoin and start a
The-
reserve currency and really start a firestorm there of countries saying, gosh, we've got to gobble this asset up. There's only so much of it to go around. You actually might be able to make a decent dent in your debt that you've created from all this printing and stuff.
yeah, and countries FOMOing over each other, and then pumping the price of Bitcoin through the moon, and then yeah, and then taking all your Bitcoin and going paying your debt off.
Bananas. Seriously, can you imagine like running a business in such a way where you ran it so bad that you were in a huge deficit it's like a bunch of VC tech companies. They do this all the time. They'll run them at a loss forever with the hope
Yeah,
that at one point you could go ahead and sell to somebody else that says, oh, we can bolt this on, or you could get a little bit profitable at some point to say, hey, there's actually something here. It's just bananas that you could do that, and then you pivot and say, well, we messed up so bad. If we go buy this Bitcoin thing and we can get everybody really excited about it, maybe we can fix our messes. Bananas. Come on, man. It's crazy enough. It just might work though.
yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, the Fed printing machine apparently coming back on tomorrow.
That's the
That'll be
rumor.
fascinating. Yeah, we'll see.
That's the rumor.
Yeah, incompetent USA leadership. Well, here's the thing, like, and I've thought about this a lot. Everyone says, right? You guys have heard it. We've said it here on the show. I'm sure you guys have said at some point, like, this has to get under control. But what does that actually look like from like a spending perspective? Well, you would have to be the president that walked into the office, and you would have to say, I'm probably going to have to be all right with bringing on the next Great Depression and crippling, really, in a lot of respects, markets across the world, because it wouldn't just be the US. If the reserve currency takes a hit, then markets across the world are going to tumble. So you would have to say, I'm all right having markets across the world tumbling. We could go and slash probably at least half of the federal jobs to be able to make it, so that that you were more streamlined and you didn't have money that you were bleeding there constantly. You'd have to cut a ton of federal programs, which I'm for a lot of that, in my opinion. I think we should have done that a long time ago. But essentially, you would have to be that president that went in and did those things. Nobody wants to be that person. Nobody. You would be the most hated president in the history of the United States if you went and did that. You would not be reelected, and everyone would be feeling the pain. And so, like, everyone just keeps trying to push the buck down the road, and frankly, like, it's so bad at this point that I don't really blame them. I wouldn't want to be the one that stepped in there to try to rectify it. Let's try to get what you can, why you can, and yeah, and play your cards right.
Yeah, just keep kicking the can down the road. I mean, that's what they're good at.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
exactly. This is a great point. Yeah, and all the carnage. Yeah, ETH ETFs were buying the discount. So was and I saw another post. I thought this was great. BlackRock, as far as we could tell, BlackRock was not selling during the crash.
no,
Michael Saylor was not selling during the crash. They're all holding. In fact, a lot of them were buying. BlackRock was buying during the crash. And so, you follow some of the smart money. Now, it'd be better if, you didn't have the powers that be taking over some of this stuff, but it is what it is. And I think that we're headed to greener pastures, or I'm hopeful we are. Yeah, absolutely. Both political sides will continue the printing press. I agree. Once again, like, nobody wants to be that person that destroys economies across the world. You would be that person if you wanted to try to fix this.
yeah, I agree.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Retail dumping, Wall Street buying. They want your crypto. Here's an interesting thing that I was thinking about yesterday, Corey. So for some of these events, now not like the really big ones, like for instance, you didn't want to sell the bottom with the SEC FUD. You certainly didn't want to sell the bottom here. It's fascinating to see the strength in the market bounce right back. But man, it goes to show. We were on a call yesterday with a billionaire friend of ours. He said the crypto markets have tumbled, the stocks are tumbling. What are you guys doing about it? And our response was, well, you typically don't want to do anything when people are acting irrationally. You typically just want to sit on your hands and wait to see. And that's what we've been doing. We haven't sold anything, just hanging out, yeah, trying to buy the blood. So that was our answer, and he agreed. So just hanging out and waiting and seeing.
That's it.
Oh, this was nice. Yeah, went heavy yesterday. I like it, K Crypto. Good for you. Very cool.
Yeah, Frank did too.
Nice, Frank.
Yeah, good time to pick that up for your IRA. Very good time to pick that up.
Brightlight, oh yeah, says they sent 5,000 Marines. Wasn't that over to Israel? Is that right, Brightlight? I think that was over to Israel.
How did they do that?
Within just the last 4 days, I think it was. Yeah, recently. Oh, and Paul clarifying. It was gay bars and pizza delivery. Gay bars.
Really?
Apparently have my understanding. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. My understanding is gay bars primarily for men, because primarily it sounds like mostly men work at the Pentagon, and so they're saying, "Hey, are the gay bars empty? And are people ordering out pizza?" That was kind of funny.
Do we hire gay men at the Pentagon? I'm still a little confused. Like,
I don't know. Give us some more context here, Paul. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, bright lights. Yeah.
Israel.
Yeah, lock me Martin, man. I don't know, man.
What to do? Well, I can tell you guys, I think that, in my opinion, it'll be really interesting to see where this month takes us. How does the Fed respond? I mean, we've got some unanswered questions here. What's going on in Israel? Is there really something going on there? When there's smoke, there's fire. So what happens there? Yeah, it'll be. I'm largely in a position here where I'm feeling pretty comfy, like waiting. I have some more capital that I think I'll do some more dollar cost averaging with a little bit of it at these levels. But for my rental, my rental that I'm selling won't even close till probably the end of this month or so if everything goes according to plan. So I can't do anything about that money anyways. But yeah, I'm hoping prices are still cheap when I sell that thing so I could deploy at good prices.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I think we were talking about, in fact, there was another person in our group that said today, he said, "Oh my gosh, did I miss the buying window? Our good price is gone." And no, prices, in my opinion, are screaming right now. I think it's just a matter of, your time horizon and your preferences. And you don't have to do anything crazy. I think one of the biggest things that I've been evaluating for myself through all this is looking at my risk profile and saying, am I managing risk well? Because one thing to be buying blindly, it's another to be buying while also managing your risk. And are you managing it well? Like if your crypto went kaput and everything went to zero, well, do you have time that you could go make some moves and still be all right, still be on your feet? And if the answer is not yes, then maybe you just want to look at what you're doing and how you're doing it and adjust a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's a good time to buy. I mean, that's my opinion. I think it's gonna be a good time to buy for a while. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope it goes up like like a rocket. But I feel like we're going to be down these levels for a little while. There's still a lot of uncertainty. we just had a nice little bounce because we crashed so hard yesterday. But well, kind of. I mean, not us. I mean, Pulse Chain, like I said, it crashed yesterday, but like it was just a price that we just revisited the price from like 2 weeks ago. So these are still great buying opportunities. I mean, when you got no sellers left, that's the time to be buying. When
Right.
you don't have sellers left, yeah. I mean,
How about this Soda Chronicles account? Seems to be freaking these dates, man. Seems to be calling a lot of it. These dates really solid. Apparently, they just tweeted and said they're watching August 19th. I think they pretty well called almost to the day. They said watch early August. I think he said the first week of August or something like that. And here we are. So he says again, watch the 18th. Yeah, who knows? I don't know what that means. But we've still got, I mean, we still
oh,
got plenty of resistance points before we're like really off to the
I
races.
think that's the response day for RH to respond back to the SEC. Is it not?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's what that is, what he's referring to. And of course, that should be some kind of volatility, you would think, but whether it goes up or down, yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, the SEC stuff, that stuff does not bother me at all, man. I mean, there's so much case law now, and so many things have happened with the SEC since they served Richard. So much stuff has happened. I mean, to your point, I mean, Richard, I think, wanted to kind of sit in the back of the line on purpose. And I think it's playing off. Like the strategy's playing out really well. And
Agreed.
so, yeah, it's going to make it easier for his attorneys when,
Agreed.
all these other attorneys and judges and, whatnots have kind of paved the path, if you will, as far as making case law and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that doesn't have a whole lot of concern with me. Now it'd be cool to get it clear, get it out of the way. That'd be nice to get it, to have that clarity, because then allows other players to get back into the ecosystem.
Sure. Agreed. Let's pray you're a prophet, Joe. I just had a daydream that Richard is streaming again. We're pumping more than ever. Let's hope you're that's prophetic. So let it be written, so let it be done, they say. Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Oh man. So I'm curious, what are you guys doing? Feel free to share in the comments. Are you guys repositioning? Are you managing risk differently? Are you buying? Are you selling? We've got some of the buys that people have put in. So that's pretty cool, catching some of these dips. It's hard to know. So, man, with a lot of these dips, we've had a sell off and then a bounce and then it goes deeper. I'm curious if we go a little bit deeper here, if these W's confirm on the Richard Hart tickers, if this is indeed the high or low and we head up from here, it'll be interesting to see.
Even if it does, Dane, it's not going to go right to the moon. You know what I mean? It's going to establish a new floor.
Agreed.
That's what it would do. It would like literally one price block, on top. Like it wouldn't. It's not going to be nothing crazy yet.
Right.
But it would be nice to establish a little bit of a higher floor. It would feel good.
Right. I like it. Here's a question for you, Corey, and I've thought about this one quite a bit in the last few days. It struck me last night the last couple of nights as I'm laying there in bed and my wife's like, "Aren't you going to go to sleep?" And it's like 1:00 in the morning and I can't sleep because I'm thinking about the freaking markets. I'm like, just laying here with something like Hex. You had a token that largely just went up. Like most of its existence. Now there were dips, right? There were dips in the game. I get it. But during the bull run, like it pretty much just went up for a majority of the time. And I think that you have a lot of people, understandably so, from that era that were giving advice on the new RH tickers as if they would be the same. And it's And it's not, you know what I mean? And so if your experience says, hey, I buy these types of tokens and we, for the most of the time, we're just going up, you know, those things have been invalidated thus far. And so at what point do you, you know, do you change a thesis there? The fact of the matter is we've been moving just like everybody else in crypto. This is, you know, this is no different. And I think you get that for a few different reasons. But man, yeah, that epiphany struck me last night, and I just thought it's fascinating to think how a lot of people's perspectives have shifted and changed just from their experience in this market so far. It's different than the last, and it'll be curious. I'm really curious to see the bull market targets once euphoria starts to really set in. What are people's thoughts? Are they more conservative? Are a lot of people looking for a 10,000x again? You know, where do we stand? It'll be interesting.
You'll see the 10,000x guys come back to the table. You'll
Sure.
see them. Oh yeah, you're gonna see them, man. And those are the guys who are just don't have enough exposure. They're there, man. They're there. They're also the ones who FUD the most.
Yep. Agreed. There's no like, it's hilarious to see. I was telling my wife, I said, being in crypto this long has been a master class in emotional resilience because, man, like there is not a lot of talk of things, of some middle ground. Like when things are good, we're doing a 10,000x. When they're bad, the world's imploding, and you should
scam.
Yeah, you should say your prayers, roll over, and die because everything's over. Like, it's fascinating to be able to learn to try to manage yourself better. And I tell you, Corey, we learned a lot of lessons and emotional strength in real estate, but this is a level that I did not achieve from investing in real estate. I'll tell you that much.
You are knowing thyself, sir, is what you're doing with your emotions. K crypto, I don't know, man.
When $1,000 hex, sir.
Oh, okay. We won't make fun.
No. The Hex Monkey, we all thought this. Everyone thought this. Yeah, everyone thought this, that we'd be off to the races again. I'm telling you, like nobody, if you went back in time during the sacrifice stage and you told everybody, hey, we'd be below the sacrifice rate. In fact, even below the best sacrifice rates, or we're really close to it anyway, is what the whales got with the whale bonuses. Like if you said we would be down there over a year later, everyone would say you were freaking crazy. Everyone.
They would have called FUD on you, and they would have
called I would have said you were crazy. There's no way in hell that happens. I would give it a 0% chance, and I would have bet everything on the likelihood of that. And here we are. So, you know, like, you learn from the freaking markets. Jeez.
Oh man, the markets will they'll humble you, sir. And
Jeez, that's the truth. In fact, Richard tweeted out. Did you see Richard's tweet today?
I don't think I did.
Let me find it here.
Sure.
All right. Let me see.
I hope Richard's got some DCA money to buy the ETH dip.
Oh man, that is a painful one. Bought the top, literally bought the top, and here we are.
Yeah. At least if you could DCA at 2,500, you could get that buy price down. You can bring it down some, man.
What happened to the Mr. I call bottoms and tops? Man, that's also been invalidated here. Multiple times. Jeez. Multiple times. Okay, let me. All right, so he says he just shares a handful of charts that are down, and he says, yeah, nearly everything price wrecked. Tons are down 30 to 40% on the week. Maybe remember these numbers the next time you think you're better than somebody else. I thought that was a really fair take. And my takeaway from all this is like there could be so much good from the crypto communities rowing together. There really could. I get the tribalism. In fact, I think the tribalism is really healthy in a lot of respects. But man, there's something to be said about making inroads and yeah, and rowing together. There's a certain someone I would like to see making more inroads that raised over $1 billion for a sacrifice. That would be nice to lead by example. Love to see that, sir. But that was, yeah, I thought it was a good take.
Yeah, just make a couple friends. That's it. You don't got to go friend everybody. We understand there's a lot of scammers in crypto, but there's a couple good guys out there.
Yep.
There is.
Agreed. It's also you have this was another thing that came up. This was interesting. So you have the Jump Trading Company. Did you see that? It
Yes.
sounds like
a crap ton of ETH.
They're selling ETH like crazy, and it sounds like they've been selling Solana as well. So, Richard talked about needing to have, or, not sucking middleman D, not, giving tokens away to VCs and these other big names for marketing purposes. And there's something to be said about that for right now. As far as we're aware, right, there's not anybody that has those tokens that hasn't bought in that can just go freely dump. And so, so that's a win. That's a good thing. And price charts are holding up pretty good amidst this dump. Like I said earlier, I thought we'd be down a lot more.
We've got rid of all the Nick Cherries.
It's looking like it, right?
I mean, there's still some out there, but those guys are the ones who are holding now have to be believers. I mean, like they want to be along for the ride, right? And yeah, it's been over a year. It's been over a year, and I mean, multiple FUD events and a lot of hate and a lot of just, I mean, I feel like a lot of good distribution has came out of this. So basically, anytime you lose a Nick Cherry, we've explained this before, who's a massive shark, what happens is you have all these dolphins or even squids who eat up all that supply, and then that supply now gets more evenly distributed over the entire market of that asset, right? And so it's very bullish that we've sat and rinsed out all these people. In fact, Hans says it all the time. He's like, look, the longer we run sideways, the more we can go up. This is why that is. This is exactly why that is, because you rinse all these players out. The asset gets distributed more evenly, more healthy for when we start moving up, and we're able to move up. So yeah, it's been long and it's been painful, but I think we're going to be extremely happy. So,
we've said it before. Make it to 2025. Make it to 2025. I thought about this too, as I was laying awake in bed late in the night the last few nights. Man, yeah, I feel like I would have been better off, at least emotionally, coming in and freaking buying when prices are cheap and not looking at the charts and just leaving it alone. Coming in and like looking at it every day it could wear on you. And so take it a little bit of a step back in that respect, just to be able to manage things a little well. And I tell you guys, I think this is incredibly important. In fact, if there's anything we talk about today that sticks in your brain, like seriously, if you're feeling the grind, if you're feeling really negatively emotionally, like find somebody to talk to. This is not the time nor the place to do something drastic. Take matters in your own hands and do something to hurt yourself. Be wise about how you're conducting, your emotions and whatnot. Feel free to DM us if we can be somebody to talk to and you're feeling the pain. Feel free to reach out. If we can help, we'd love to do it.
What about if they have sudden wealth syndrome? Do you want them to DM you with that too, Dane?
I am patiently waiting for the sudden wealth syndrome to plague the community. I'm hopeful it plagues many, and they are gripped by the sudden wealth syndrome and don't know what to do with themselves. We've got lots of things that, in fact, we've got a lot of things in our personal community. If you
That's
get
true.
sudden wealth syndrome and you need your next goal or cool thing to go do, we've got a lot of cool things going on. We would love to connect with you. So keep that one in your back
Yes.
pocket.
Well said.
Let's see. With the global political and financial happenings these days, has your view changed in regards to crypto for the end of the year and into 2025? Where do you stand on this, Corey? That's a good question.
As of right now, it's unchanged, but does it mean can it change? It can. Time is the most important thing, and the cycle is the most important thing. The global liquidity index, tied along with the time and the cycle, and everything's still on point. Doesn't mean it can't change, but all we could do is look at prior data and what's happened in history. Like I said, this dip yesterday is right on cue with the COVID dip. So for me, nothing has changed still.
Right.
Doesn't mean it can't.
I'm largely with Corey. Like, I think, you look at a lot of the data points. In fact, this is interesting. I've done a lot of soul searching over the last couple of days. I'm just giving you guys a window inside. I went and looked at a ton of data points and charts over the last few days because I want to use data to drive our decisions. Mm-hmm. Because that can help, that brings clarity. You can see the trees through the forest type of thing. And so I was saying, I went and I looked, and I said, hey, is the data changed? Is there something that's truly saying and screaming, hey, this time is now different? And there are some factors. Make no mistake about it, right? World War III could be detrimental. A new president in the United States making decisions that could be really harmful to the market could be detrimental. There's plenty of imaginary horribles that absolutely could come to pass. But we've had those in previous cycles, right? There's always the threat of some looming thing, always. So that part is actually the same. So the FUD part is very similar. The bear market stuff is very similar. The data showing DeFi as a whole of where we're at. Sami does it all the time where he shows the others versus BTC chart. Like we're holding on right there, right now. I mean, the data says so far we're just kind of hanging out, waiting and seeing. And that's where I'm pretty comfy, like being patient. I want to see over the next, month or couple of months, where are we? Because if something catastrophic happens, well, once again, have you managed risk well? And if something positive happens, well, you don't need to buy the perfect bottom. But as you get a little bit more surety, well, then you can go ahead and buy some more. And if you can generally get near the lows, well, you're in a really good spot. So I'm with Corey. I think that into 2025, I'm hopeful we do some pretty good numbers. 10,000x across the board and sudden wealth syndrome for everybody. But no, I don't think things have changed much.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. Yeah. Well, cool, Corey. We've covered the comments. We've talked about a lot of different things today. It's probably a good place to wrap. What do you think?
Yeah, guys, we'll be here pretty much all week. We missed yesterday because we're still getting ready for school. We might end up missing another day or so this week because of school. School starting out here in Puerto Rico, and it's been one heck of a time.
A nightmare.
One nightmare. To get this all around. Dane, I was up last night too, but it wasn't from the markets. It's because of school. School's hit me all. Yeah, it's been insane. But yeah, we'll be streaming all week, guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you guys are watching on Twitter, come over and subscribe to our YouTube. It helps us boost that algorithm, so we can keep bringing the good word of crypto to you guys and bring the good word of real estate And the really cool stuff that we're going to be bringing and be talking about later down the road here is where we can talk about how to take profit in crypto and not pay taxes. So we'll be talking a lot more about this as time moves on. We have a cool little thing that we're working on. And yeah, so but until then, you know, we'll keep on cranking with you guys. And yeah, and that's it for me, man.
Yep. Make it to 2025. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. I'm telling you, that's really freaking important. Make sure you're in a good emotional space. And with that, you guys, we appreciate each of you, and we will see you later this week.
Peace.